What's going on, guys? Welcome to your second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report for Friday, November 27th. Yesterday, I published a video yesterday evening, later afternoon. You may not have seen it. If you didn't, I highly recommend you go and watch it. I'll link to it down in the description box below. But what I addressed in that video is that the White House has kind of put out some feelers, and the White House is saying what they would sign off on as far as what would be in the next stimulus package. Well, again, if you didn't get a chance to watch that, I highly recommend you go and watch it. It'll kind of give you some insights as to what is going on there. It had some good points inside of it, and it had many experts. Many experts are currently at the point right now where they are anticipating what the White House wants and will sign off on is going to ultimately lead to a stimulus package before the end of the year. Granted, it will be smaller, it will be more targeted, will not help out as many people, but it will be something and it will be good. One of the complaints that many economists are having right now as far as stimulus goes is the only thing that the White House seems to be worried about. There's technically two things. But the main thing that the White House is worried about is the stock market. What is the Dow doing? They're up over 30,000. Well, they were. Okay. So, what are they doing? Where's it going? That's what the White House seems to be the most worried about. This is why being in the market at this time is so important. Now, I'm not saying go and dump all your money in the stock market. I'm not saying you're going to make billions and billions of dollars. I'm just saying being in the stock market right now is a good idea with at least a little bit of money. Now, if you want to get started, I will put a link down in the description box below. If you sign up with that link to get a free Webull account and deposit $100, they will give you up to 4 free stocks valued up to $1,600 a piece. Now, that right there would be an incredible stimulus to the American people. All you got to do, go and sign up, deposit $100, and they will give you up to 4 free stocks, valued up to $1,600 a piece. The nice thing about this is wait a month, collect your stocks, wait a month, sell your stocks, and cash out your account if you want to. And you pretty much just got free money, and it took you less than 30 days to get that money. That's a good idea. So, you can do it, you can don't do it, whatever you want. But in regards to stimulus, economists and the public alike are tired of seeing the White House refer to the economy as coming back strong and starting to begin booming like it once was, only when the stock market is doing well. But studies show the majority of Americans are not in the stock market. But yet, the White House is saying stock market's doing well, the economy must be doing well. That's not the case. But even though you may not be in the stock market, even though you may be struggling, there is some good news. Yesterday, Peter Navarro, this is pretty much what my video yesterday evening was about. Peter Navarro explained how the White House wants 3 things in the next stimulus package. Those 3 things: stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, and the third one is PPP funding. Not in that order. The first one that the government really wants and the White House truly wants is PPP funding. That is funding for businesses to stay open, to keep their employees paid, keep them on payroll instead of laying them off and sending them off to the unemployment line. Which leads to the next thing, is the unemployment benefits. Unemployment benefits are seen as a very important tool to get people from not working to working, keeping people and their families somewhat afloat with some type of income until their job comes back, till their employer calls them back, or they find something different. So, unemployment is seen as a very needed thing, an important tool to get the economy back. And the third thing, which would be the fastest stimulus, is stimulus checks. And what Peter Navarro was specifically saying, and this was also something that Tom Reed was saying just earlier this week, is he was saying, and he's one of the co-chairs for the Problem Solvers Caucus, he was saying that if we don't have stimulus checks going to people, then the businesses that are getting the PPP funding, they will open, they will bring back all their employees, but there's no demand. Because all those people that would shop at that store or go to that restaurant, they don't have any money. So in order to solve one problem, you actually have to solve two. That's good news. That means no matter what, if PPP funding's on the table, which it is, then stimulus checks have to be passed right along with it. So again, that's good news. In addition to those three things, unemployment, stimulus checks, and PPP funding, the next thing that Republicans want, specifically the White House and Mitch McConnell, is to include liability protections as well. And this is something that is more a Republican demand. Democrats want liability protections, but they want it for the consumer, not the business. That's where they differ. The reason why this is such good news is because it provides the American people with the stimulus that can actually make a difference quickly. Keyword is quickly. There's things out there that will take forever. PPP funding will take a little bit of time. Stimulus checks, as soon as the president signs off on that, we could see stimulus checks as soon as 7 days later. That's why this is so important. Other stimulus at this point is seen as a good thing. But Americans need help now, and they need the quickest help possible. Whatever they can get the fastest time, the quickest manner, is seen as the most important, or deemed as the most important at this time. These three things would ultimately do that for them, would provide stimulus quickly. Unemployment benefits could be rolled out within weeks. Stimulus checks could be rolled out within a week to 10 days, and PPP funding could come as soon as 1 month later. So this is, like I said, it's all very important, all needed. The only problem right now with what the White House wants is that, yes, many Republicans are on board. They love the idea of a $500 billion or up to a $1 trillion stimulus package. The problem is getting Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer on board. That's been a difficult road. It could be an impossible journey, but it's something that needs to happen because we know right now Democrats are open to a smaller stimulus check or a smaller stimulus package. Republicans, the majority of them are not open to a larger stimulus package. Anything over 1.5 trillion will see a very small amount of Republicans actually support it. Anything over $1 trillion, there's more support, but there's also going to be roughly 20 Republican senators at this time that will not support any stimulus package. So, as we know that, and as Nancy Pelosi, I'm sure, knows that as well, she needs to negotiate with that in mind, is that no matter what Mitch McConnell says, no matter what Steve Mnuchin has told her, we know there's a little bit over 20 Republican senators that will not vote on any stimulus package, whether it's for $5 or $500 billion. They will say no. Now, before anybody tells me in the comment section, because I hear this all the time, why are you talking about Joe Biden and what Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer are doing and saying? The reason why, Nancy Pelosi, yes, she would be the negotiator right now with Mitch McConnell or Steve Mnuchin. But here's what you need to understand. Right now, Joe Biden is the one that is supposedly going to be our next president come January 20th. And until somebody says otherwise, we are on this channel, I've said this before, we are going to proceed as if Joe Biden is going to be the next president. Whether he is or not, okay, this is not a political channel. I just want to talk about the finance aspect behind it. Because of that, what I want you to understand is whether it's President Trump, whether it's Joe Biden, that doesn't matter at this point. Yes, we'll get into both of their plans at some point, and I already have done that as well. But what you need to understand is that yes, a lot of reports are coming out that there is fraud, and I guarantee you there is fraud in the election. Not just this one, in previous elections as well. It's nothing new, it's always been there, and I guarantee you it always will be there. But it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. That is going to be the difficult part for President Trump. He's on it, he's doing it, and in his meeting yesterday, in his kind of press conference with the media, he said, we will see some shocking things in the next couple of weeks. Well, he only has a couple of weeks to bring those things to light before the Electoral College calls who is the next president on December 14th. So, right now, we only have one president. That is President Trump. He is the one that's making all the decisions right now. However, when it comes to Nancy Pelosi and stimulus, Nancy Pelosi is looking at this as, okay, if we win the Georgia election, the Georgia Senate runoff election, those 2 senator seats, then we now control the Senate. So she's looking at Joe Biden and saying, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to pass? How can I try to negotiate a deal for you? That's what Nancy Pelosi's doing. So I just want to bring that to your attention because I know a lot of people are like, Joe Biden's not our president. I get that, but Nancy Pelosi doesn't get that yet. She's looking at him as, you're the next president, so I'm turning to you. Well, that's why we have so many issues right now, is we don't just have one person negotiating. We have Nancy Pelosi negotiating along with Chuck Schumer for Joe Biden. And then we got Steve Mnuchin negotiating for President Trump, who is looking to Mitch McConnell saying, hey, can we get the support? And he goes to his caucus and they're like, no, we can't support that. That's the reason we are here. Because our 2 leaders are not negotiating together. They are negotiating for other people, which is making things very difficult. Which this kind of leads me into the next big news that came out yesterday. President Trump has said he will leave the White House if the Electoral College votes for Joe Biden, but he is not prepared to concede. What we know right now is the Electoral College has until December 14th. That is when they meet. On December 14th, that is when all the states should have everything in. I think it's supposed to be by December, I think it is by December like 11th. That's when California is the last state to pretty much certify their results. So the Electoral College will meet December 14th. That's going to be a big day. It's going to be a big day because then we will know who is going to be the president-elect. Will it be Joe Biden or will it continue to be President Trump? That, again, like I said, is going to be a very important day. However, this is good. Being that President Trump came out and said, you know I will leave office if the Electoral College votes Joe Biden. Well, whether or not they vote Joe Biden or President Trump is not the most important thing that I took from this statement. The most important thing that I took from President Trump's response was that he will leave the White House if he is not the winner. This means that a peaceful transfer of power will ultimately happen. It will lead to our president being able to do his job and hopefully get the country back to where it once was. This means he can work on stimulus. He can, whether it's President Trump or Joe Biden, whoever it is, can lead the charge even more to get the vaccines out quicker, get them out to more people, make sure they are safe. That's the important thing, making sure a vaccine is safe. Another thing that President Trump mentioned, I don't know if a lot of people really got this and understood how important this is, but another thing President Trump mentioned that will be a deciding factor for stimulus, not right now, but leading up to into January, this will be extremely important. President Trump said that he will be heading to Georgia on Saturday. He actually misspoke, and one of his aides came out and said that it won't be this Saturday, it will be next Saturday, December 5th. He will be heading to Georgia to hold a rally to potentially help campaign for the 2 Republican senators there. Now, his hopes is that this rally will get more people out. This will get more people to vote for the 2 Republicans. The Republican Party at this point is really leaning on President Trump and his following in order to get more people to the polls to go and vote for one of the Republicans. Remember, if one Republican wins the Senate seat in Georgia, then the Senate will still be controlled by Republicans leading into 2021. That is where things are getting very testy. Democrats know they need both seats in order to take back the Senate. However, at this point, it's looking highly unlikely they win both seats. One is possible. Both of them is looking less likely at this point. And this has many people worried that no stimulus will be coming unless it is for something under $1 trillion. Unless we see stimulus after January 5th, but that again would most likely be under $1 trillion. Unless we see it after January 20th, when Joe Biden becomes our next president and the Democrats take back the Senate and they still control the House. That is the only way we will see a large stimulus package. We could potentially see a larger stimulus check than just that $1,200 stimulus. We could also see maybe double stimulus, 2 possible checks. Possibly, I'm not saying it's very likely, but it's possible. We could see a monthly stimulus check for the short term. Again, we don't know what would happen if Democrats do take back the Senate. We don't know. We can speculate, and most people are anticipating if they do, we will see a large stimulus package, probably something over $2.5 trillion and possibly exceeding $3 trillion. Now, like I've said for the past few weeks, all eyes will be on Georgia come January 5th and pretty much all through December. All eyes will be on Georgia. The good news right now is that it seems like there is hope for a smaller stimulus package before then. It will be smaller, it will be more targeted, and it would come before the end of this year. That is the good news. However, it will most likely not include 2 things that people want. There's rental assistance and food assistance. Those are 2 things that most likely will not be in a smaller, more targeted stimulus package. I get it. Many people need rental assistance. Okay? Landlords are looking at rental assistance as a savior, as, okay, if we don't get rental assistance, then the renter cannot pay us. We cannot pay our mortgage, or we can't pay, or we can't put money in our pockets. We're struggling. Hopefully they took mortgage forbearance, but if they didn't, they're struggling. They're having issues. Now, we also didn't hear from the White House if they would also include school funding and state and local government funding as well. Hopefully, sometime this week, we hear from them about that. Being that the United States reported 103,116 new COVID cases yesterday and 1,176 deaths, there is still a massive need for stimulus help. These numbers are way down compared to what they used to be at 178,000. However, these are equal to our numbers for November 8th. This is not a trend. This was most likely due to the fact that yesterday was a holiday, and we usually see less numbers on a holiday. Also, most experts do expect a spike over the next couple of days and most likely in the next 2 weeks as well. So, that is what we know regarding stimulus and COVID. As I know more, I promise I will share more. I just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Make sure you click that subscribe button down below so I can continue to keep you updated. And I'll see you guys on the next one.